Hello and welcome to another tutorial. My name is Brian Ierson. I'm one of the instructors at the Computer Workshop. Today we're going to talk about how to draw architectural objects and begin with just drawing a simple little window out of several shapes. So to begin, I'm going to start by switching to my custom drawing tab that I created earlier. I have a blank slide. I'm going to go to my shapes and I'm going to just draw a new little rectangle shape. I'm going to click and drag out my shape, and to make sure that it stays square, I'm going to hold down that shift key as I'm clicking and dragging to constrain the proportion. So I'll go ahead and just draw out a square, and I'm not worried about it being too large right now, because the first things first is I'm going to build and draw my shape so I can see it, then I'll scale it down to a more reasonable size for use in other objects. So I have my square selected here. I'm going to use my Control D, Control D, Control D to create 4 more squares. Now I can move these around, as you can see, and I'm going to just set them so that they line up. I'm going to let the little smart guides help us out, and I'm going to create a kind of nice little 4-pane window grid. If I want to make sure things are lined up, I can select 2 of my objects. I can make sure that I use my alignment tools, so I'll align these centers so now they're stacked directly on top of each other. And then I will align the 2 top ones, and I'll select those on their middles. And then I'll select the 2 bottoms and align those also on their middles. So now I have an absolutely dead perfect grid. Back to my shapes, I'm going to draw one more large box that's going to cover all of these. Again, I want to hold down that shift key to make sure that I constrain those proportions. And now I'm going to have the background, the sash if you would, the frame of the window. Now I know it's not in the right place in space, but we'll take care of that in a moment. So now that I've got that, I'm going to right click on this and I'm going to bring up my format shape. I'm going to switch here to my fill tab if necessary. I'm going to go to my solid fill and I'm going to pick a color, and I'm going to go with a light gray. And I'm also going to turn off the line. I don't want an outline on this. The line will be created later on as we apply effects. Now that I've got that, I'm going to right click on this again and I'm going to send it to the back. Now it's behind all those other shapes, and I can use my arrow keys on my keyboard to nudge this around and kind of eyeball it where it looks good. And that's great. We've got that. I'm going to come back for a moment over into my format shapes, and I'm going to click on my little effects here and expand shadows if need be, where I'm going to go ahead and look at my presets. And I'm going to want an outer shadow for this, so I'm going to put this on the outer bottom on the right, and that's going to make it look as if the sun or the light source is in the upper left. I can go through and adjust the size of my shadow and all of that. You can play and make those changes as you see fit. I'm going to go ahead and bring this back down to a more reasonable scale or size, and then I can adjust transparency, angle, distance, but I'm going to leave these for the time being as is. Now I'm going to select one of my little blue boxes and I'm going to hold down the shift key to select all of them. I really do not want to go ahead and try and format each of these independently. With them all selected, I'm going to come back to the format shape, switch back over to my fill controls, making sure that I'm at a solid fill, and I'm going to use one of the light blues. So I'll just go ahead and make that look kind of like glassy blue. And here again, I'm going to take off my line. I don't want a border on any of these. I'm going to come back to my my special effects here, my shadows, and this time I'm going to use an inner shadow so that it's going to give the look that they're inset into that frame. So now if I deselect that, you can see I'm starting to get a very nice 3D looking window shape. But I have 5 different objects that I'm going to have to manage and manipulate, and that's a bit over the top. It's cumbersome. So if we drag a selection box to select all of these shapes, I'm going to right click on this and I'm going to go to my group option here and I'm going to group them. So now I have that single object which I can very quickly scale, stretch, and turn into all kinds of different variations of this. So there is a quick little way to create a window, a simple little drawn window. So for now, we're going to end this tutorial. If you liked what you saw, please go ahead and subscribe to our channel. We will be putting out new videos every week. So always check back, see what's new, and we will continue to develop this idea. We're going to do a few more on drawing within PowerPoint. So for now, I will bid you all a good day